So now about school. Who of you went to school? And who of you liked being at school? Getting a little less. Well, I did. I really waited for that day. I was eager that the mystery of letters in words would somehow now be lifted. And that the mystery of calculations could be mine. It was a bit of a disappointment when on first day of school I had to draw the content of my Schultüte. That's the cornet you saw on the first picture. It's usually filled with little sweet stuff and things like pencils and rubbers. Although it's good to have a rubber, you can correct yourself and write something even better. And it became better. I learned my letters, I learned my math, I learned actually everything that was required by the official curriculum. Sounds rather dull? I was a very good student, but fire, more of a dim candlelight. School and education, one of the most frequent themes at TED, at least according to my counting. It might be a bit of a pregnancy syndrome. You see what you want to see, and when you're expecting a child, you see pregnant women everywhere. But nonetheless, it is a really, really important issue. And it has to be addressed and readdressed over and over again. Why? Let us look at the political map today and ask for the underlying disruptions. Wherever we look across Germany, Europe, the US, and beyond, we see the same tendencies. Polarity and radicalization. We have opened the door to the simplifiers, to the AfDs, Le Pens and Trumps. We are lending the stage to the short-term thinkers, the plain materialists, the climate change deniers. Why is it so easy for them to find their audience? In Berlin, there lives a woman that I deeply admire. Her name is Judy, and her mission is the reintegration of delinquent neo-Nazis. Her success is tremendous, and her reintegration rates surpass expectations by factor 10. So I asked her, Judy, what do you do with those radicalized youngsters that you're so successful? The answer? We educate them. History, of course, but all the basics they need for a vocation. We hand them an entry ticket into a decent life in our society. How about those radical Islamists that shock us with their atrocities? They come from Paris, Molenbeek, Bremen, and we see basically the same pattern. Young people that feel shut out. Do you know what Nicholas Henin, the journalist abducted by IS, said about his tormentors? They're not religious fanatics. In fact, they know little to nothing about Islam. They are desperate banlieue dropouts that watch Teletubbies at night. A generation prone to failure because we as a society failed to educate them and to hand them a key into our world. We are fighting terrorism and extremism, and we make it the most expensive project of all times. How about fighting poor education? But how? It's that positive twist, that inspiring thought, the possibility to play, to engage, to be relevant. That is important to all young people, in fact, to all people. How about you? Do you have a dream? Who has a dream? Anybody has a dream? Yes, you probably have a dream. Where have you developed that dream and the conviction that you can make it come true? Was it at school? For me, it was a bit. At the age of 16, I gained a scholarship to attend for 1 year. and private American high school. And that was my chance. There I met people that lit my thoughts, that unlocked my interests. There were people like Wally, the math teacher. He lived integrals, and he kindled our passion to solve difficult problems. Or Mrs. Martin. She had breakfast with me every single day during that year to teach me 4 years of Spanish in one. In fact, they did not teach me how to build a ship. They taught me to long for the endless immensity of the sea, opening windows, offering perspectives, widening horizons, education in all aspects of life. Okay, you can say, great, lucky you, met great teachers, had a good education, but that's surely not what has taken me here today. It's the conviction and the finding that you and me, we can change education if we feel it to be necessary and important. It takes some time and a bit of a breath, but it's one of the most rewarding careers you can think of. But before I talk about my experiences as an educational entrepreneur, let us briefly glance into an average school. Who of you met teachers that built up your confidence, your self-esteem, and made you feel important? Who of you had teachers that left you with a sense of stupidity and humiliation? Some of you may know, others will find out. You cannot detach yourself from your children's fate at school. And I have my children returning from school in indignation. I don't know who is from Bavaria, but in Bavarian schools, teachers quiz students in front of class. So here you come and you're tested. Now imagine you're 12 or 13, fighting your pimples, grasping for any kind of straw of coolness you can find. Any child I ask, never mind if they are poor performers or good performers, say, it's hell. And it's a good reason to prefer the dentist over school. And the thing is, it doesn't give any good reason to do this. Neither pedagogical nor psychological. You don't learn any better. It's just an old habit. The perpetuation of an old habit. So how do we get the positive twist I was talking about into a system of permanent self-perpetuation? Here's my challenge. Why are we not demanding what we demand when we buy a car, a smartphone, fashion, or a holiday? A world-class experience. Okay, society is not a business and school is not a factory. It's more important. Maybe it's most important. So that is why we're not to demand any less. Education must be first class. And I mean first class in content and form. I do not advocate any kind of laissez-faire education with low aspirations. I mean ambitious and respectful, challenging and inspiring. How do we get this first-class education? With an honest and sincere passion for learning. And we can take it from the children. Give them the credit that they want to learn. They get up and walk in the first place, difficult enough, and as you said, who is exposed to children in the age of 4 to 5? They keep asking questions. They really want to know. And that is our fundamental conviction at Science Lab. I founded Science Lab in 2002 as an NGO for discovery of sciences in early childhood, together with my good friend Heike Schettle. She is physical chemist, and we discover the mysteries of biology, chemistry, physics, math, geology with children in the age from 4 to 10. We're opening them a window into a world of amazement, and they keep us impressed by their insights and brilliant ideas. Science Lab was not my idea, by the way, it was my eldest daughter's. She kept asking all those why, where, and how questions. Where does the sun hide at night, and why is there no black in the rainbow? So we discovered it together, and we grew on it together. When we started Science Lab, people around us were full of doubt and skepticism. Teachers, parents, our husbands. Why would children want to learn sciences? They're not the most popular subjects at school. And why would we leave our careers as strategic consultants? But we both were convinced we have to see those children grow on their findings. We want them to feel self-assured and to gain the confidence that they can understand and learn everything they want to know. By now, thousands of children have taken part on that journey, millions if you take into account the partnering kindergartens and schools. And they are excited, and they are so confident, full of joy, bouncing through the room when they discover that the bubbles in their soda can extinguish fire or close the electric circuit. They are so proud and so self-assured. The first Science Lab children are now studying physics, medicine, engineering. That's a very good outcome, but not the most important one, probably. There are stories like the one of Anne. Anne was 16 and ready to drop out of school when we came in with the Science Lab project into her class. She decided to stay, finished her exams, and learned a vocation. What does it take to have great education in schools? It's not a matter of money, more money into the system, as recent studies reveal, at least not in our country here. It's a matter of people and methods. Several studies indicate that the grade point average of young men and women starting to study education is below average. And the high performers tend to be mobbed. At Science Lab, we have the privilege to work with really good people. They are change makers, aiming to continuously improve education. They want to make it better, their own teaching. They keep on learning. And you know what's odd? That's not the rule. Our official institution for learning is not a learning organization. Individuals are, yes, they're curious, inquisitive, and keen on learning. Those great teachers, you and me, and also my children met, they're really good teachers out there. But the system is not prepared to learn. As an educational researcher, I always tripped over the word fear amongst teachers. You can ask, what are they afraid of? They're civil servants and cannot lose their job. Evaluation and mistakes. But mistakes are a chance to learn. There's nothing good that couldn't be better. We make a point out of it at Science Lab that the most important discoveries were a result of a mistake or a detour. We value the chance in a mistake. Because education is not simply the transfer of knowledge, given knowledge from A to B. Education is the cultivation of personal and intellectual growth. Education is not just the gatekeeper for individual prosperity. Education is the mediator for social differences. Education is the door for ecological solutions. And education is the basis for peace and dialogue. So, let us not empty this cornet on the first day of school. Let us all make sure, all of us, in our various roles, be it as voters today or in other occasions, be it as politicians, as parents, as teachers, or as entrepreneurs, let us all make sure that these cornets are filled during the years with enthusiasm, knowledge, the thirst for individual growth, and lots of promising perspectives. And maybe a rubber or two. Thank you.